The poem, The River, is written by Valerie Bloom. Valerie Bloom is a Jamaican-born poet and a novelist based in the UK. Bloom has published several collections, the most recent of which is Whoop and Shout. Her first collection was Touch Me, Tell Me in 1983, and this was followed by Duppy Jamboree in 1992, Let Me Touch the Sky, and The World is Sweet and Hot Like Fire. She has also edited a number of collections, including One River, Many Creeks, and A Twist in the Tale. Her first novel was Surprising Joy in 2003. Her next novel, The Tribe, was in 2007. The poem, The River, talks about the journey of a river, picturizing its movements. The poet compares the movements of the river to human beings, such as a wanderer, a nomad, a tramp, and a winder. The poet also refers its characters to mankind, such as a hoarder, a baby, a singer, a dancer, and a monster. The river is personified to the different stages of mankind. The use of capital letter in the word river throughout the poem emphasizes this. Let us read and understand the poem, The River. The river's a wanderer, a nomad, a tramp. He doesn't choose one place to set up his camp. Through these lines, the poet explains the kind of travel the river does. The poet compares its movement or journey to kinds of travel made by the mankind. The poet says that the river is a wanderer, as it keeps on moving as if there is no aim, and is a continuous process. The poet says that the river is a nomad. Again, it means that the river travels from place to place and does not stay at all. The poet again says that the river is a tramp, which means a person who travels from place to place on foot in search of work or food. All the comparisons done here reinforces the idea that the river keeps on moving. Now, let us read the next set of lines. The river's a winder, through valley and hill, he twists and he turns. He just cannot be still. Here, too, the poet specifically says that the river keeps moving on without any halt or a stay, and the poet adds on the kind of places it flows through. The poet says that the river is a winder, which means the river keeps on flowing by twisting and turning and just can't seem to be able to keep still, as if it does not rest or stops. The poet also specifies the places it twists and turns through. It twists and turns through valleys and hills and is not able to be still at all. Let us move on to the next stanza. The river's a hoarder, and he buries down deep those little treasures that he wants to keep. Here, the poet calls the river a hoarder. Why is it so? And what does it mean? A hoarder means a person who stocks, stores, or hides things from the public in a secret manner to get secret benefit out of it. For example, some businessmen hoard their stock to create artificial scarcity. And once the market value increases, they bring it out in the open and make secret profit out of it. But here, the river is called a hoarder because it keeps all the things that falls into the river in its riverbed. It can be anything from valuables to some debris. Those little and big things remain there forever, and thus the river acts as a hoarder. Let us see what the poet says in the next set of lines. The river's a baby, he gurgles and hums and sounds like he's happily sucking his thumbs. Here, the poet compares the river to a happy baby. But when does the river is like a baby? It is when the river flows in a gentle way. Then the poet feels that the river is like a baby, because the sound of the river seems to be like the gurgles and hums made by a baby when he sucks his thumb happily. The sound produced by the river, then, is so soothing and relaxing. Let us move on to the next stanza. The river's a singer. As he dances along, the countryside echoes the notes of his song. Through these lines, the poet says that the river is a good singer and dancer, because when the river flows gently, it makes a harmonious move to its sound. At this point, the poet feels that the river is a melodious singer and a graceful dancer. The very sound and sight is soothing and relaxing for both our eyes and ears. Now let us read the last stanza. The river's a monster, hungry and vexed. He's gobbled up trees, and he'll swallow you next. Through these lines, the poet gives a very scary sketch of the river and compares the river to a monster. That means something that is very dangerous. The poet says that the river is a monster because it is hungry and angry as well. What do the monsters do when it is hungry? It just gobbles up the things around it. That is what we see and read in the stories, right? The same thing happens with the river too. When does the river act like a monster? The river acts like a monster during the times of floods, earthquakes, heavy rain, etc. And what does the river do when it becomes a monster? The river, as a monster, gobbles up everything that is on its way. It can be villages, hills, roads, bridges, cities, huge trees, vehicles, buildings, etc. At this point, the poet gives a caution to all of us, the readers of the poem. The poet asks us to be careful, because the river may swallow us the next. So what is the sum and substance of this poem? It is to take utmost care of our Mother Nature so that all the things in this world can live happily. Or else, wait for the natural calamities to happen, which is going to destroy the mankind. Hope you enjoyed the poem. Thanks for watching. Please continue with the comprehension part.